here. It is time for another G.I. Joe toy review. Today we're going to be stepping back into the 90s. We're going to be looking at a action figure from my childhood, one that I had purchased from the KB Toys outlet store that same year. I'll get more into that later, but the Night Creeper is the one we'll be looking at today. He was released, as aforementioned, in 1990, and he was only on the shelves until 91 when he was discontinued. That's when they started only doing their one-year releases, was in 91. Before, with the earlier Joes, it was up to 4 years with some of them because they did the swivel arm battle grip change. Then it was a 2-year run with them. Some vehicles were still running for a lot longer than that. So about 1990 is when they only did the one-year release because they were turning out Joes like you would not believe. He was a part of the 9th series. His original retail price was $229, but I do have a card back that shows $279. So depending on where you went, the prices varied. There is a card variant. One is just your standard card, and the other has a sticker on it for combat pay. I don't recall ever seeing those as a kid. If you remember seeing the combat pay, let me know down in the comments, or even if you know what it is, let me know, because I'm pretty curious to find out. As well as the battle ribbons. I don't recall ever seeing those either. I would have snatched those up. Those were pretty cool. So let me pull up a picture of that card variant that has the combat pay sticker on it. Alrighty, so you'd see the sticker there in the corner. It looked like it was some sort of a game. I don't know what's up with the lighting today. Trying not to get it so close to me because it's very hot. So I purchased this in 1990 from the KB Toys outlet store at VF Factory Outlet or Vanity Fair. For those who live in Arizona, it's actually still there to the last time I checked. It was it's located at Power Road and Baseline. It was a discount mall, essentially. They had bookstores in there, Kitchen Concept, had a little food court, but slowly those things started disappearing. But it's a pretty cool little mall. So KB was the place I went, and I buy my Joes. I was delivering a newspaper called the Penny Saver. It was just an advertisement newspaper. People would buy spaces in it to place an ad. Just a very small newspaper, and I would go out and deliver that. I had these huge pouches that I wore, one on my front, one on my back, and it just killed my shoulders wearing that thing. I delivered 300 and some newspapers on my bicycle. But at the age of 14, you have all the stamina in the world. So I got paid weekly. I would go and cash my check and ride my bike over to Vanity Fair and buy a G.I. Joe. Got a lot of my 89, 90s Joes from there. Night Creeper was one of them, and I still remember the feeling to this day when I first saw him. Pretty impactful, actually. I was like, whoa, my first ninja. So, ninjas were really big in the 80s and 90s. So I was happy to snatch him up. And my first thought was, why isn't he wearing a Cobra symbol somewhere on his uniform? Uh, and there is a surprising lack thereof, but it says Cobra the enemy on his file card. So you're, I guess, supposed to remember that he was a bad guy. But it's a very cool action figure. I actually army built him. I have like 6 or 7 of them. And I actually have a full card back I could show you. It was hanging up back here, and I pulled it down. So without any more jawing, let's go ahead and take a look at this sweet action figure. Right, here he is. Let's go ahead and take a look at his file card, full card back. Somebody took great care of taking the bubble off. You can see that they purchased him in Toys R Us for $2.79. Let's look at that card art. Shows him with his crossbow. Very cool action figure. See, it says Night Creeper, Cobra Ninja, Cobra the enemy. And it has the cell with all the figures. I don't have topside or free fall. In fact, I don't have most of the paratroopers from that time. Those guys. But the rest of them I do have. The Night Creeper shared his backpack with Snake Eyes. So it's just like Snake Eyes, but it's black. Alright, so he came with quite a few accessories. First off, he came with this weird looking barbed sword. I didn't like this back then, and I still don't like it now. For one, he couldn't carry it in his backpack, and two, it just looks silly. But I could see the benefit in this. You could catch other swords in the barb and disarm them, and the barbs obviously can rip and tear flesh and material and fabric. Came with this very, very cool crossbow. It's a 5-shot crossbow, shoulder mounted. There's a trigger there on the front. Silent weapon. Very cool. That was one of my favorite accessories with him. His other favorite accessories, my most favorite, is the Chris sword. K-R-I-S, Chris. It's a curved sword. These were made for maximum damage. It has a very tiny handle on it, but a cool weapon nonetheless. And this purple backpack. You can see that he has a little climbing ladder right here, collapsible ladder. He has some claws. Looks like a bedroll rolled up there, some rope, some throwing stars, and this backpack holds his sword in those little tines there. Be careful, those can break off, but the Chris sword fits very nicely in the backpack. The action figure himself is just completely incredible. By the 90s, they perfected the silver and gold paint so it did not rub off. He does have a tendency to yellow down here on his gray area, so watch out for that. He is mainly purple with some splashes of gray, and that works for him. He is a night invasion ninja. He did show up in the Deke series. So he has this really cool body armor on the front, straps down on the back around his waist, wearing a silver helmet with the purple cloth around his face and head, and a silver visor, silver or a purple shirt, long sleeve shirt with purple gloves, gray pants with gray and purple again, camouflage. He has these looks like a repelling harness that goes around his waist. These are done in silver. He has purple boots that are wrapped up in cloth. Very clean, cool looking action figure. My first ninja. I still love this guy to this day. That's why I've army built him. And he's actually on the aftermarket very inexpensively, surprisingly. Now that I said that, the prices are going to start going up. Okay, let's read his file card. You notice down here in the corner it says H1. That is the second release of the file card, so this was a 1990 purchase. His file card reads Cobra Night Creeper, or codename Night Creeper, Cobra Ninja. It reads, Cobra documents revealed the existence of contract between Cobra Commander and a syndicate of high-tech ninjas. It is believed that these so-called Night Creepers have been given the task of conducting all field intelligence and covert operations for Cobra. All investigations into the structure and origin of Night Creepers has run into dead ends, or resolved the mysterious disappearance of the investigators. Sounds like the League of Shadows and Batman. Down in the bottom, reads in quotes, all evidence seems to indicate that Night Creepers have the drive and scruples of Wall Street stock manipulator, the lethal skills of a master martial artist, and the stealthy talents of a cat burglar. To make matters worse, they're backed by the latest and most sophisticated anti-detection and weapons technology in the world. It's as if Attila the Hun had a black belt and an MBA and was armed with lasers. Must be Cobra Commander's quote. Alrighty. So this is just a very cool action figure all around. Nice and clean. What I mean by clean is he's well done. It spared no expense with that guy. Drinking RC today. Good old-fashioned RC. One of my favorites as a kid, actually. So he is just a really cool figure. Like I said, he was in the Deke series quite a bit. Sort of replaced Storm Shadow. Sort of. I'm not saying that it was a complete replacement. But these guys are just cool. I love the purple. It fits his job as being a night creeper, going under the shadow or the cloak of darkness. It's smart that he has the camouflage on these brighter colored pants that helps break it up and make it harder to see in the dark. These guys are just really cool. A little bit bias towards them since it was my first ninja. And later that year I bought Snake Eyes from Toys R Us. Or not Toys R Us, but from KB. Yeah, like I said, the only action figure I don't have is Free Fall from the 90s, and I would have that 1990 complete. But yeah, let me know what you think about this figure if you did have him. He's very readily available on the aftermarket and at a pretty cheap price. So that brings me to my favorite segment, Byron's Gripes. For those of you just joining, I don't do Byron's Gripes to pick on any of the sellers nor eBay. I just use eBay as a quick reference. There are many other sites out there that sell Joes. Of course, support your local vintage toy store if you do have one. That money stays in your community and you're helping a small business. And I'm a big supporter of small businesses. That's what really kept America going for a long time. Obviously, every country had small business, but I really like seeing the ma and pa stores. Let's see. Yeah, he's very readily available on the aftermarket. I don't quote auction prices. That's what I was thinking of. They're very fluid. So I would ordinarily go after an auction if it's a very popular figure, hoping to get it at a better price. A lot of times I do get lucky and do get them at a very decent price. But with the Night Creeper, I wouldn't do an auction on him because he's so available out there. So an incomplete, just by himself, just the action figure by himself, $6.99 to $9.99. That's not bad. I would put the $6.99 up with the deal of the day. $9.99 is a little on the high end, but you know, I would still buy him. He's an army builder. Personally, with army builders, I don't care if they are complete or even if they have accessories. They display very well together, and that's what I get them for, is the display factor. So you get a nice little army of these guys standing together. It looks really cool. Carded, under $19 to $120. That's not too bad for a carded figure. Closer we get to further we get into the 90s, the cheaper the action figures are. The more sought after ones are from the 80s. Just from my personal experience. Complete. This is deal of the day. $15.99 to $19.97. That is outstanding for a complete with all of his accessories. I would jump on that. Very good price. Found another one for $24.99. That gets the Miser of the Day award. Mr. Scrooge there thinks he's sitting on a gold mine. Just because it says G.I. Joe, it does not make it valuable. His crossbow, $3.99. Incomplete and misses some of his accessories. $14.99 to $15.99. You know, you could buy his accessories fairly cheaply and still get them at a very good price. The Chris sword, $4.99 to $6.75. That seems to be the most common sword missing from shopping for this guy. And that was the sword that I lost when I was younger too, because that was the one that was played with the most. You can find his legs for $3.99, his barbed sword for $2.99. Complete with the file card, this is deal of the day, $26.50. Complete file cards do tend to go up into the mid-teens or even higher depending on the action figure. Incomplete with a full card, $17.85. The bow and Chris sword, $9.95 with an or better offer. The file card by itself, $6.25. His arms are $1.95 each. His head is $1.95. Torso $2.50. Did not find his pelvis, the waist piece. That, like I mentioned last week, the waist piece is harder to find as people are customizing Also, the crotch breaks off. So those are a little bit harder to find out there. So this guy is just really cool. One of the few ninjas, or one of the many ninjas, I should say, in G.I. Joe. They just went ninja crazy in the 90s. But I do recommend that you get this guy. He's great. A lot of fond memories of this guy when I was little. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well. I just want to make a brief announcement. If you've been watching HCC 788's channel, he hasn't been real active the past few weeks. He isn't feeling well. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, you know, I am in contact with him, and you know, he's doing better, but he's just trying to focus on getting feeling better. But he's going to get on his channel here pretty soon and get things rolling again. I know he misses everybody. He keeps on saying that. So just wanted to let you guys know what's going on with him. And that's all I'll say about that. So please don't ask any questions. He's generally a very private individual, despite running a YouTube channel. So everybody, please stay safe out there. Remember, wash your hands. Practice the triple S, safety, sanitize at 6 feet. That comes directly from the snot viper, the Cobra respiratory therapist. So if you practice those things, you can stay pretty safe. Some states are opening up. It doesn't mean to go absolutely nuts and say, hey, it's safe, I'm going to take my mask off, I'm not going to wash my hands. No, you're not. COVID is still out there. It's still rampant. So please practice safety, sanitize, and 6 feet. Wear a mask if you have one. If you're feeling sick, stay home, especially if you have a fever and body aches. Those are generally the first few symptoms, and then it hurts pretty bad to breathe. Because COVID obviously is a respiratory virus. It attacks your lungs, and it makes your lungs, you start to lose the elastic quality to your lungs. It's why it hurts to breathe, and they start filling with fluid. You develop pneumonia, and it's just nasty. So please stay safe out there. Use your head. Use the common sense that you were born with. And always be kind to one another, especially be kind to animals. Ain't no nothing but unconditional love. So this has been Joe Moshe Videos 82. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you very much to all my new subscribers. Everybody who subscribes to his channel is eligible for a giveaway. Channel supporters have their own giveaway. So I just want to make that announcement. So anyway, you guys take care of yourselves, please. Like to see you around a lot longer. Anyway, stay tuned for next week when I will have another G.I. Joe toy review. Until then, bye-bye.